Our next speaker for tonight's event will be Akarsh Verma, who will be giving a presentation about the connection back. So everyone, please welcome Akarsh.
Let's be honest. The first thing we do when we wake up is look at our phone. The second thing I do is brush my teeth while looking at my phone. The third thing I do, eat breakfast while thinking about my phone. Phones and social media have become such an integrated part of society that it has taken over my morning and the rest of the day. However, this isn't the case for everybody. People over the age of 60, only 20% of them use social media, whereas a large 60% of people between the age of 20 and 29 use social media, such as Facebook. And this creates a huge communication gap, which only widens as technology advances faster than people can catch up. Of course, 10 years ago, when I wasn't able to use social media, I assume some of you will remember AOL Messenger and Gmail Chat, where you could chat with people. You could chat with people. That was the only function that was there. And now it's evolved into Facebook walls, where you can figure out about your family's life and that your sister gave birth. Hopefully not the first time you're hearing that. And you can go on Twitter and read your Twitter feed and read about Justin Bieber's daily life and Kim Kardashian's new dog, or whoever you want to follow on Twitter. Of course, there's a lot more important things on Facebook and Twitter. The capabilities of organizing huge events, such as the Egyptian protest. And when you realize that the Egyptian protest was organized entirely over Facebook, this was thousands of people that revolted against the government, and the main organization platform for this was Facebook. So these social medias have evolved and have gained a lot of power in this technology booming age, and leaving out the elderly has created a huge communication gap. And there's this really terrible stigma going around nowadays that the elderly don't want to learn, that they would rather sit around and read their books or whatever people think. But this is not the case. So a couple years ago, when I was back in Ann Arbor, I used to work at an old age home, and I used to teach people actually how to use iPads, the elderly there. And one of the guys, Mr. Pels, he told me that people would come, they would play classical music. They would come entertain with songs and read them books, usually mostly for volunteer hours. But they would do this, but nobody would ever come and teach them about technology. And he found it interesting because it's such a fascinating thing, just you can have a small phone and you can access such wide platforms such as Facebook. And he told me that people would never think of this. Additionally, my grandmother, 4 years ago, had absolutely zero contact with technology. She's from a much more rural area of India. And I went and I decided, you know what, I'm going to teach her how to use a phone. It's really important to use phones nowadays. And I gave her a first Nokia brick phone, which is basically a brick. And it has, the 10 buttons, 9 of them are numbers, one of them is an OK button. And she was utterly fascinated by the fact that you could call relatives across the world and keep in touch with them, while I was in Germany, or at the time I was in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And she quickly picked it up, with somebody with zero knowledge of technology. She picked it up very quickly. And later on, I came the next year and I taught her how to use a smartphone. And now, when I wake up, the first thing I see is her Facebook messages and her status updates. So I urge you guys to go out and teach your grandparents or your parents how to use phones and social media. It's not that hard, and it's an enjoyable experience. So please go out there and try it out. Thank you.